Today isn't Kakania's birthday, nor can she see her reflection in Isolde's lustreless eyes. The star of Vienna holds up the brooch, yearning at the emptiness before her. If one were to die today, what would she say to her longtime friend?
Süße Träume, Frau Detestorf.
Hello everyone! Greetings, dear Aristobats, fellow immortals and mortals, yet to be claimed by the night. Welcome to this lady's humble abode. We're finally back. We can finally finish Vereinsamt. I took my sweet time. What was that? I like that. Bring it back. I saw something interesting. Okay, these are back. I can start wishing here. But that's besides the point. I'm sorry. I'm left behind. Anyway, let's get to the story. I'll go search what I have to search later on. I've also left a star here. What is it? About the forest you're familiar with, about that comparison you know so well. Oh, well. Surveillance report on Miss Weyerhaeuser. Weyerhaeuser? Following the forest incident, Ms. Weyerhaeuser, suspected of using her arcane skills to destroy and invade on public places and thus causing severe damage, was required to eliminate the influence of arcanum and restore the original function of the site, and was forced to participate in 124 hours of Foundation service activities in addition to a fine of 200,000 sharpedantes. Ms. Weyerhaeuser showed a high degree of cooperation accepting her punishment. She enrolled in the temporary tree processing class and, within 3 days, dealt with the excessive tree overgrowth she had caused by trimming all the greenery within the Foundation. At her impassioned request, the materials from the processed trees will be fully utilized. In the following period, the tree processing class responded to this request. We processed the trees into lumber and sent them to the engineering department. The byproducts were processed into organic fertilizer, and the remaining fruits were distributed by the canteen at lunchtime to offset Miss Weyerhaeuser's service activity time. The acorn bread and berry pies received quite good reviews. In summary, given Miss Weyerhaeuser's excellent performance and good attitude in admitting her mistakes during this period, we believe she has fulfilled her compensatory obligations to our satisfaction, and it is recommended that surveillance and movement restrictions are lifted from Miss Weyerhaeuser in advance. That is all. Hadn't that thing she did with the trees happened long ago? Are we just learning it right now because she's free of that now? The last big newsflash. Half of this newspaper page has been soaked in murky oil paint. Fortunately, the other half of the text is still faintly legible. The last yeah, we said that. I don't know if I'm crazy. Maybe today is the end of the world, but I have to write this down. This is my duty as a journalist. The whole of Vienna has become an oil painting splashed with turpentine, and I'm not using that as a metaphor. Literally. Everything is dripping with paint, and I'm no exception. Fortunately, my right hand is fine for now, and I can still write. I thought 3 men fighting to the death over the pronunciation of a word would be enough to make the front page of the newspapers, but I was wrong. I'm guessing this is a cuss word. A great war is unfolding. A great war that will involve the whole world. Those feet marching on the streets can't wait to throw the world into the roasting flames of hell. Hungarians, Austrians, Transylvanians, Germans, Cisleithanians. The streets and cafes are full of lunatics talking nonsense, except for me and the little girl who just came to make a phone call carrying a case of books. The girl was crying so sadly when she made the call. She ran so fast when she came that she even slipped and fell, and she didn't realize the books had fallen all over the place until after she finished the call. I don't understand what there is to cry about when everything has become like this everywhere, and any semblance of order will soon disappear. If there is anything that still makes you sad, then you should do everything in your power to destroy it, just like the editor who keeps rejecting my drafts. If I don't take him down, I'll never have a chance to shine. This article will appear in tomorrow's paper, along with the distraction of my editor, if the world hasn't ended by then. I'm guessing she saw Marcus. Or he. And she was probably calling to report Greta's death. Alright, let's keep going. Hymnus ad Bacchum. So I will rejoice, dance freely, and savor my wine.
is awake?
The blind woman nods, smiling. 37 scrambles up from the floor, her eyes sparkling with joy.
Fabulous! Now everything is perfect, like the number 10.
I wouldn't call the situation outside a 10, but okay.
He will be happy to hear that I've cracked the code.
She skips across the room, the paper with the knot on it still in her hand.
I did it, Vertin! I have proven the light of truth still shines. With some time, communication, and a flash of inspiration, we can bring it down from the unattainable skies and let its radiance illuminate all. And I've also proven that the truth is not out of reach or too distant to grasp. So, once Sophia knows about this, she'll come back to us, right?
Nope, because she doesn't care anymore. She opens her eyes wide, eager for the affirmation she yearns to hear.
I'm sure she'll be happy with what you've accomplished, 37.
37 nods with satisfaction and quickly dives back into her work, further perfecting the solution. I do understand she's a child and that she's trying so hard, because this would affect her negatively if she knew that Sophia wouldn't come back. But she literally told her something adjacent to what she wanted to hear, and 37 took it as a yes, your friend will come back when you do it, which is not what Vertin said, obviously. I just think they should be more straightforward with her, because there comes a point that she needs to understand. And I also think that maybe she won't understand for a while. Like, even if they told her in her face, perhaps 37 wouldn't understand for a long time, because the way she thinks is very different from other people. But if they could somehow have maybe 6 explain it to her who knows how she's thinking, I think it would be optimal for her. I don't know, maybe I'm taking this too personally. I just wouldn't like people to do this to me. Like, if there's something you're gonna tell me, if there's anything I don't understand, I want you to explain it to me, and don't let me live in the clouds, if you will. The leaps in progress and the news of Six's return have filled the lab with smiles and lively conversations. Yet the most active members of the past are not here for the celebration.
Did 210 and 888 go to get 6?
You don't seem that happy.
The leader stops, looking at the speaker coming down the steps.
The Star of Hermes deciphered the code of Apeiron. She found a way to cross the emanation.
You lost so much, dude, until this happened. Of course he's not happy.
We should all feel happy for her.
I mean, for her, yeah. The leader does not answer, having mastered the art of silence over the years. The rhetorician doesn't care. He can effortlessly engage in dialogue and is at ease in any conversation, even with a rock. I mean, same.
Yet here you are, so indifferent. It is because you, too, know that what has happened will not change, regardless of whether she figures it out or not.
Exactly.
A meager ritual to save people from the emanation is nothing compared to the disruption of the law above. It also cannot change the fact that our faith is dead. We're talking about how the island has sunk, and we're now sailing in a tsunami. A tiny miracle, a spark of inspiration, won't save the ship from the wrath of the tides.
His tone is sarcastic, but the mockery is missing in his eyes.
To be honest, I was surprised that she asked such a practical question. I guess the trivialities of the phenomenal world did eventually affect her. It's a shame that many others lack her determined will to see beyond the void of our broken reality.
What's your point?
Can't you see? I'm getting a rise out of you.
He beams a huge grin.
Who would have thought that our great, perfect, honorable leader of the School of Apeiron has been a nihilist all along? You never revered the truth, did you? That's why you kept us in the dark for 4 years. You never respected our beliefs for a second in your life.
This is what you get out of all this? My goodness, you're stupid. The man down the steps shakes his head.
The people who seek the truth are more important than the truth itself.
Exactly.
I may not understand that ever-shifting number, but I do understand and respect the people here.
He literally risked his own life, all his life, to do what your stupid truth was telling him to do, what his mother, his aunt was telling him to do. What if he didn't care about any of this? Did he still abide to everything, respect your wishes as a whole, like lose his life just to satisfy you guys? And the fact he still cares more about the people than the whole whatever you had going on there bothers you? I mean, come on. That's a leader. A leader cares about his people more than this bullshit. He's continuing the conversation, a rarity to behold. Ever since becoming 6, he's rarely had a chance to unleash his sarcastic wit.
So you know the secret. What now? Now that you know the truth could lead to a nihilistic void, I wonder if you would abandon our doctrines, our wisdom, and our inheritance, and step into the darkness in a fit of rage. When truth fails, sophistry prevails. Correct?
Ha! We cannot deny that fate, the unspeakable, holds wisdom beyond our understanding. Perhaps it does take a resolute skeptic, an impartial nihilist, to steady this ship and remain detached enough to look on from the sidelines.
210 looks up at the distant grapes-colored sky.
It's a pity. This was supposed to be the best time of year to make wine.
He leaves without looking back. The silent leader continues on the familiar path. A short distance away, 37 slides gracefully down the sand and runs toward him.
6! You're here! 888 said they're holding a celebration before the arrival of the emanation, in honor of the living and the dead. Will you join us, 6?
People are really brave on that island. They are literally telling them, death is upon us, and instead of running, they want to celebrate it. For the people that died.
37. Do you remember the story of Socrates?
The one you told me in the cave? The trial is over. Why mention it? You should answer my question first.
Her words trail off as her eyes suddenly widen in fear. She's completely fixated on what's in the distance. She knows the feast is underway, and she's recalculated the safe zone for them to hold it in. Okay, they have a safe zone. But now people are laying out food and wine on the ruined beach among the rubble and wreckage right next to the remains of the battlefield.
Wait, are they holding the ceremony outside the immunity zone? I told them to go to the meadow near the top of the mountain where they will be completely safe. I've checked my calculations over and over, leaving no room for error.
Oh my wait. That changes This is suicide.
888 must have made a mistake. I need to warn them.
No, this is willing. Her tiny arms are held back. Blonde hair droops over 6's eyes. 37 looks back in confusion at the leader's unusual behavior.
37. Either be wise, uninvolved, and look on, or be practical, involved, and suffer. Which one will you end up choosing?
You mean all we need is a piece of hope?
The voice on the phone sounds unsure.
Yes. In recognition of your extraordinary contributions, Laplace is honored to present you with the fruits of our labor. This knot is the result of our research. The knot has been validated as a working ritual on both humans and arcanists. With the help of other arcanists, we found methods to avoid side effects and conducted small-scale experiments with success.
So are you saying we can...
However, since the experiment is still in its early stages, it involves a variety of materials and complicated rituals that are not yet possible for transmission. nor can we deliver you any experimental equipment, as the storm is about to make landfall. The knot acts as an equivalent to the incantation, but it does not guarantee that we will meet the casting requirements or avoid the likely side effects.
This is devastating news for anyone in need of rescue in the midst of a disaster. The robot pauses briefly, searching its database for kinder phrasings.
I apologize, Miss Kakanya. Perhaps the result of our work will not really help your situation.
You said the knot works on both humans and arcanists, right?
Surprisingly, there is no despair in her voice.
Yes.
That is more than enough. This is the best news I've heard so far. There's a chance for everyone.
The robot did not understand her mumbling, but she found something in her database that might help.
I have 2 more pieces of good news. First, the curse is not inevitable. Our experiments showed a 0.49% likelihood of no side effects occurring at all. Second, the closer the storm gets, the more pneuma fills the air, leading to a greater success rate of the ritual.
So the ritual can only happen, or rather, it is more likely to happen successfully when the storms come in.
Yet, even with these factors combined, the rate of success is still extremely low.
It's all right. With millions of people trying, there's hope that at least one person will succeed against the odds.
Dude, even one person is enough for her.
Thank you for sharing this with me, madam. I will do everything I can to spread this knot in Vienna. To the Arcanists, humans, Magyars, and Germans. They are all my people, regardless of their social status, profession, or race. They all deserve the right to survive.
Lucy ends the call and turns around. There stands a Foundation employee, sent here to inquire about the experiment, with a stern expression after overhearing the conversation.
Madame Lucy, I can only assume you acted impulsively and overlooked the proper application process. The knot is new and not ready for widespread testing. Distributing it in Vienna could lead to more casualties or even fall into the hands of our enemies. I must remind you that this is a clear violation of the regulations set by Pax Security Council, the St. Pavlov Foundation, and the Laplace...
Ah, yes. How careless of me.
The robot nods.
But I did tell her I would share the results of the research, and this is what you call a promise.
Nice.
And the database says, a promise made is a promise kept.
The storm is imminent. The final moment has arrived.
My brothers and sisters, put down your cups for a moment and lend ear to me. We were born extraordinary, yet estranged from the world around us. Throughout the ages, we wandered the world like a ship lost at sea. Despite the instability and chaos, we persevered, and together we sought after the truth that would illuminate us all. Through introspection and contemplation, we cleansed ourselves of hatred, madness, and delusion, and embraced the value of beauty and harmony.
Yet now, our shattered faith mingles with the rubble of this phenomenal world, as specks in an unjust timeline, as remnants of a tide long receded. The dream of the transcendental world is broken, and the order of the transcendental law is no more.
Our sanctuary has crumbled, exposing us to live in a world filled with conflict and turmoil.
You don't know that.
Where we will be trapped in the wheel of birth, doomed to repeat the mistakes of history for eternity.
But do not despair, for there is another way to the truth. It is a path fueled by unbridled passion, one that was stifled by moderation and restraint, a path that transcends the individual, breaks all boundaries and limitations, and leads us back to the essence in a fiery blaze of glory.
This path is the emanation, which we stride into for the ultimate truth of our journey.
Doctor?
The boy eases his pace as he sees Kakania rushing his way.
Finally, someone I know!
She cradles a thick stack of pamphlets in her arms, a little out of breath.
Ilich, gather everyone you can and have them read out these steps in the plaza for all to hear. If possible, go to the telegraph office or use a printing machine to copy flyers. Distribute as many copies as you can. I'll go to Leopoldstadt and find the Gracchus brothers. They know where to find abandoned military hot air balloons.
What are you talking about, Doctor? People are too busy trying to escape. I want nothing to do with those crazies. This? A guide for tying knots? Don't you know the world is about to end? So many warnings. Who'd want to read this?
The people who want to survive will read it. I can't guarantee anything. It's a gamble for our lives. But people have a right to try before doomsday arrives. Ilich, please trust me one more time. Please.
The boy recognizes the play in her voice.
Fine, Dr. Clara. If this works, your coffee for the rest of your life is on me.
Why?
Clutching at her own hair, she lets out a heart-wrenching wail.
Why? Why are you still leaving?
They're stupid. I'm not gonna talk about how against I am. That, not yet at least.
I found the truth. I completed the test. I deciphered the code of Apiron.
They don't care. Instead of using that truth to continue their life, they say, oh, if we can have our world, knowing the truth is not gonna change anything. We're still gonna be forced to live in the world among other people that live for the phenomenal world, and we're gonna be miserable and blah blah blah, so it's better if we die and, you know, become one with the truth anyway. That is all bullshit. She struggles, trying to break free from the arm holding her back, her eyes fixed on the beach before her.
Why aren't you stopping them, Six?
Because he's done as well. A friendly figure comes up to them.
Hello.
Oh, you.
Are you joining them, Miss Marta?
She smiles and shakes her head, turning her face towards the leader.
I find myself uncertain of which way to go. Would you kindly give me some guidance?
The guidance I can offer you is limited, Miss Marta. I think fate knows its own fate better than anyone.
Thank you for your advice. I think I understand.
She steps into the path of no return. Here we go. So as it might be obvious, that was the video I had been spoiled with all this time, so I knew how this was going to end. And back then when I saw the trailer having that part, I was disappointed and saddened because, I mean, I joke about these stuff all in all, but I really liked 210 at first. Like, yeah, troublemaker, whatever. I also like the Banshee lady, and I wanted them to stay around in general. So yeah, when I had seen the trailer, I was really upset. But honestly, right now that I experienced it, I never expected that the game would be able to turn this so much around that I wouldn't give a single damn. A single damn, though. Like, I'm sorry, you can throw me every single point you want in the comments. You can write me essays. You can try to make sense of what they did to me because you think I don't understand. I don't really care to understand. That's how done I am with that bull. The same applies in real life, and I know I do this a lot with this game. You're like, this is fiction, it doesn't always have to be real. But listen, I have the same issue with people who are religious. Like, I respect you, I respect your traditions, I respect this, I respect that. When I go to another country, I respect this, I respect that. There are plenty of things I don't like, not just in Christianity that I grew up with, in many religions. Like, anything that people believe so much to the point of throwing their life away for these rules because they believe that a deity will punish them if they act otherwise. They drive me insane, this mindset. So in the same manner here, I understand you lost your home. You lost everything you believed in. You were told in your face that your leader, well, has been a nihilist, to put it simply, like 210 did. And your first idea is to commit suicide? People told you that the truth no longer exists, your faith doesn't exist, and you still want to go and become one with that fairy tale you build your life on? I don't get it. Yes, many died, but you have a chance to live. And anyway, even if you lived in the phenomenal world, even if the country you want to live in repeated the bull that history repeats, wars and stuff, hatred, doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able to live your life by your own rules. There are some countries, I will say this, that do not offer freedom to do that. There are plenty of countries that say, if you want to fit in a society, you got to follow rules. I'm not talking about laws here. Obviously, we're not talking about something that could put you to prison, but simple things like the things they believed in. For example, the stuff about coffee beans, the stuff about all these rules that we heard anyway throughout this patch and the Prisoner in the Cave patch. They could still abide by those rules and keep their community underground. Like, they could all move to the same country, find places to live there, find jobs to live there. And when they're done with their jobs, they could go back to their home, be themselves, and arrange some stuff, to go meet together and live as a community. They could have their own cultural events, their own traditions without bothering anyone. It's not that hard. I mean, in countries that allow that type of freedom. For example, here in Greece, if you come to live from another country, which is very frequent, like my father used to make houses for English people and German people that wanted to live around here, they didn't have to become Greeks to stay here. They could still, for example, in Greece we don't celebrate Halloween. And let's say you come from a country that celebrates Halloween. Nobody's going to attack you if you try to celebrate Halloween at your home, or if you have money to go rent a place and have Halloween in there with some of your friends that also want to celebrate something yours. This is what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I just think that you had made a life in this little island, a life for yourself, all right? What makes you think that you cannot build it over? You did it once, you can do it again. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that all this right now was stupid. That aside now, and to summarize, because I'm taking my sweet time again, I felt really bad for Kakania this time. Because not only did she manage to spread the word last minute and reach many people, but she was also the only one that seems to have survived. Because this woman really loves her country, her people, like she really wanted to help. And in the end, she was the only one who survived. I expected she would survive because she seems like a catalytic character, like somebody we have to see in the future. So of course I didn't expect Blue Pock would kill her off. It wouldn't fit the story. But to be in the same space as, I don't know, 100 more people and see them all die except for herself, that is traumatic. Especially if you care so much about these people. Because it's one thing seeing everybody die around you that obviously is going to affect you whether you care or not. But if you care about the people, it's even more devastating. And I also felt bad for 37 because nobody explained this to her and she had to see it the harsh way to understand it. Nobody explained to this child where this was going. And I'm so mad about this. Why traumatize her like this? Say this earlier. Yes, she's stubborn. She would have tried to stop it, but she deserved to know. Deserved to know before she watched her people die in front of her eyes like that. Anyway, let's see what this star is all about.
My dear child, look at you. You're exhausted. I couldn't be of help then, but it's okay. The party is over now. At least let me brush your hair, darling.
Bitch, keep your hands away from me. I am done with you. I've said this before.
Or your hair will get all knotted. And it will hurt you when you try to untangle them.
Don't care. Indeed, it happened more than once.
I'm not surprised. An old friend of ours, not. Often we learn our knots before we even know how to read and write. A knot could be an obstacle that breaks the consistency of a flow. And also a reminder of forgotten things. You can use just about anything on hand to make a knot. Leaves of grass, the fur of an animal, even fallen hair. But the sturdiest knots are tied with rope. Knots are often found in many stories. Signify promises, counting and measuring, an instrument of salvation, and one of execution.
What else can these knots really do?
Oh, I could go on all day. The influence and power of knots can't be overstated. It is said that it was in the cutting of the Gordian knot that Alexander became the Great. Just touching the meters-long rope provides blessings to the faithful in Bellum. And the ancient Inca called it quipu. The intricate variations of hundreds of fabrics, colors, and lengths of strings were used to record their stories through the ages. And to think, Shakespeare only had 26 letters to create his masterpieces.
I think this word sounds familiar. I must have read a story about this at some point. Isn't there something a bit more practical?
Just look around you. Don't sailors use knots to mark depths in men's sails? Or coachmen tying knots to rein their horses? And any respectable lady or gentleman knows the knots they must tie about their necks to stay in fashion. Or consider the knot-like helix structure of DNA and the changes in states of matter. Invisible to the naked eye, these knots carry some hint at a universal, that there might be a string, like the quipu, an endless rope that records in its knots everything in the world, one that can't be seen, yet there it is, everywhere, all at once. Maybe you can tie this knot yourself. Use your hair, then form a loop, pass the end through it, and tighten it up. There you go. I hope you keep this knot as a record of the words we shared here.
Part 28, the two numbers. Two numbers each representing the pure essence of its own.
I don't understand.
You don't have to like it. It's just a headache at this point.
I should be giving them my blessings. They're brave enough to return to the essence, but instead, Sadness washes over me.
Because you realize that is stupid. That is why. They're brave enough to return to the essence. They would be brave if they stayed and started over. This is bullshit. And before... Okay, just so we're clear, because I've said this in the previous video, I do not consider willingly exiting life, to put it simply, cowardice. I've said this before because I'm a person that thinks of it all the time. It takes a lot of strength to go against the natural mechanism in your head that is trying to make you survive and take your own life. Just so we're clear. But in this situation, I do not agree that it is brave. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not also favoring the idea of doing it. The fact I do not find exiting life willingly as cowardice doesn't mean that I support you go out there and do it and that this is the best choice you could follow. All right? I'm not encouraging you do it. I'm just saying that if it happens, I don't consider it cowardice. Because there are plenty of people that consider this way of dying cowardice, and it pisses me off because it's not. And if you've reached the point of doing it, that means you're tired with life. You are so tired, there is no mechanism saving you from wanting to do that. All right? This is why, for me, this will never be cowardice, but at the same time, I don't encourage it. If you don't understand that, it's all right by me. I just had to put this out there because you probably didn't watch my video of Have a Nice Dream, so you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, when it comes to this situation in this game right here, this was cowardice to me. And the reason it's cowardice is because A, they didn't do it with their own hands. They just let the emanation take them, first of all. Second of all, is because they could have survived in a new place, starting over their own community, blah, 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 under everybody's nose. They didn't have to abide by any rules besides law, and they still chose not to do it, like I said earlier. And yeah, for that reason, this is not the type of exiting life willingly that I would defend personally.
I should feel happy for Sophia, now that she knows her soul number. Yet, I am filled with sorrow.
Another one that is stupid, and you have every right to be filled with sorrow. The fact she found out what her soul number is doesn't mean that she has to go with the madness. There are other ways to pursue the meaning of her soul number. The beach is quiet, clean, and perfect again. The storm has washed away everything that's happened, the war, the crowds, and the clinking cups, all gone. It's restored to the likeness of a better time, with no remnants left behind. The last echoes of an era have faded into the distance.
Why? Why did you all leave? Is it because I wasn't fast enough? Is it because I didn't do well enough?
It has nothing to do with you, it was all on them, please. Her petite frame sways in the breeze until finally she crumbles to the sand. Rivulets of tears stream down her cheeks, mixing with the mud on the ground. Her face, hair, and gilded robe are marred with stains. But she shows no concern as she bawls her eyes out, her grief stirring at the core of her being, like the first cries of a newborn entering the phenomenal world. As a leader knows, the question is answered. Rather than looking on, she has chosen to be practical, involved, and suffer. I don't think she had a choice here. She was finally met with the reality of not everything being explained with numbers, but with feelings. And her brain could not have explained this to herself with numbers. Because, with her mother, in her mother's case, her death and finding more shapes on the beach, that for her was enough to understand that this is normal. Mama left and she became a shape, and that makes sense, so why should I cry? This one she cannot comprehend with numbers. And now, the moment of parting has come.
Go, 37. Leave the island to the world outside.
And you?
Ms. Vertin, you're clearing a path out of the mires of the phenomenal world. I sincerely hope you will steer it away from the horrors of war.
It's our duty to do so.
Six nods approvingly. The importance of the scroll needs no further proclamation.
Also, the person you were looking for, I am not familiar with a biographer named Erd. However, in my recollections from the previous six, there was a lady with a soul number just as unique as yours.
Really?
Are you saying?
Sadly, these vague scraps of information were all that I inherited. I hope they will be useful to you.
He turns around. Without another look at the empty beach, he starts walking back. Some believers trail after him without hesitation. Seeing this, the girl wipes off her tears and scrambles to her feet.
No! Wait! Six, where are you going? Everyone is gone. Sophia, 210, 888, and now you too?
I'm returning to the cave, 37. There are still people who refuse to be caught in the cycle of hatred or give in to unrestrained passion.
There are survivors?
The entrance to the sacred place may be destroyed, but the people's faith is yet to be extinguished. We will persist in studying the scrolls, copying the scriptures, and restoring our halls. We will worship the Ancient One in penance and work to rekindle the flame of our broken beliefs.
So wait a second, because now I'm confused. Not everyone died in the emanation right now, in the storm? There were people that didn't want to party and want to follow you? That is good news. Not everyone is stupid on this island. But why do you want to rekindle the flame of your broken beliefs if you just told them straight in the face that I believe's a bull? But again, because 37 found the truth and there actually was an entity inside the cave that answered to 37. Maybe it's not all bull. It just needs a different take, right? I can't tell if the creature, whatever, talked to them inside the cave, the appearance, if it was what they think it was, if it was something else. But now that I think about it, he's right. There is a chance to build their belief anew, bring the flame in belief, because they do have proof now that there is something in there giving answers, and also 37 found a way to deal with the emanation, which shows that perhaps there is the truth out there, transcendental truth to believe in. I don't know. Okay, I'm fine with this. I'm happy that there are some there that still want to follow Six and that Six will stay there for them. That's what a leader would do.
The island is a manifestation of our choices, a haven removed from the phenomenal world, a place of order and harmony. And it is our determination that will sustain its tranquil existence.
Exactly, that's what the rest had to do as well.
I will go with you.
No, you need to leave.
No, your choice has already been made, 37. You should not go back. The sorrows and doubts you have can only be alleviated by experiencing the outside world.
37's face turns completely pale. Six shakes his head, looking towards the setting sun.
Thousands of years ago, the first faithful ones fled from the Roman Empire and journeyed to this island, where they founded the School of Apeiron.
And this is the answer to the whole drama on Twitter. They're not Greeks, they're Romans.
500 years ago, refugees from Arabia found shelter here. They filled the cavern's shelves with copies of their writings and texts. Half a century ago, scholars who had their research exploited for warfare came and expanded our knowledge on modern mathematics. There were many 37s and 6s among them. Yet, are we any different from them in essence? Even if we are no longer here, the numbers 37 and 6 will still exist. Even if the island sank, these numbers would reappear elsewhere. The integer sequence is infinite, 37. Rather than clinging to a set of specific numbers, you should go and work out your own calculations and conclusions.
So now you're choosing to be wise and look on. But I don't understand. How could one be wise by being uninvolved and looking on from the sidelines?
Six lets out a sound almost a chuckle.
You overestimate wisdom, Miss Vertin. It can't do everything. Wisdom can free people from ignorance, but it can also lead them to a nihilistic void.
That's the thing that many people say online as well, like, no, basically, not just online, I think it was pointed out some point at school, at some lesson. The people who understand a lot of things are more willing to suffer than those who live stupidly. That's why he's right that there is this part of wisdom that knowing too much will make you suffer. Because you know all that, and not everybody's going to believe you, so inevitably you will see people making the wrong choices and dying in front of you, people you care about, and there's nothing you can do. And there's also the kind of person that has found peace because yes, he knows, she knows, they know so much as well. But instead of getting involved, they watch people fall and they're in peace with it. It takes a lot of strength, I believe. People who are wise and are more on the uninvolved side of things, for me, are freer. They're calmer. There's peace inside them because they do not get affected by such things. It doesn't mean that they won't have people they care about. Like Six here, he cared about all of his people. But if his people choose to make a mistake in his eyes, I mean, based on his own wisdom, they choose to follow something that is plain stupid, he won't get involved. He will see them gone, he might feel saddened, but he will soon reason it enough in his head to be back to calmness. Like, this is their choice, I must respect it. Why should I cry when that is something that they wanted to do, you know? Like, I can understand the mindset of somebody who's uninvolved but wise, but I'm more of a person that if I was wise, I'd be more like the involved side. Like, I would cry a lot, I wouldn't be able to accept that my own people died because they were stupid, you know? Or that they left because even though they knew what to do, because sometimes that happens as well, like maybe you know what you gotta do, but still do something else because of a number of reasons, right? Yeah, I wouldn't be able to accept it, personally. So I could never be what Six is, to find that zen, that wisdom plus an involvement in all of this.
Yet, someone will always seek this wisdom, even if nihilistic, to briefly rise above their worldly troubles and find some relief.
That's exactly it. It is very hard to train your mind to do that. But it doesn't mean that people that know a lot of things and suffer aren't wise. It's just two states of the same thing, I believe.
And someone will have to stay here and provide a neutral haven for the drifters of the phenomenal world.
Yes.
And give the lost souls a harbor to return to.
He turns again, ignoring the Colin behind him this time.
Wait! Six! Wait!
She rubs her face with her palms and pulls up her robe, running down the beach. She stumbles over a pebble and falls, but she pushes through the pain and rises to her feet, still running as fast as she can.
Wait, Six! Atticus!
Oh. The man stops. He had not expected to hear that name. Numbers are the essence of one's soul. The names are but echoes of a phenomenal world. He was born into his number long before he was given the name Atticus. 37 never once called him by that name, for she had always valued the essence above all else. Now here she stands, hair tangled in mud, knees bleeding, all battered and bruised, yet her gaze remains resolute.
Will you leave a door open for me in your cave, like when we were kids?
Oh my god, of course he will.
I know the transcendental laws in disorder, but that doesn't mean the truth is gone. I will carve a new path through the chaos, calculate better solutions than ever before, and delve into the phenomenal world to discover all it has to offer.
Please let her have a home.
By then, if I run into problems that I can't solve, can we talk about them together?
3 maxims were carved on the pillars of the Temple of Apollo. Know thyself, nothing in excess, and give a pledge, and trouble is at hand. What can he say? Alleviating doubts is a leader's duty.
Yes, a door will be left open for you, 37. Both you and your friends can come in.
It's a promise. 6.
She brushes away her tears and waves to him. It's still a goodbye, but it's no longer as devastating. The last of the apparent followers have left, leaving only the timekeeper's team on the beach.
Zeno sent a ship to pick us up. Let's go, 37. The researchers of Laplace would love to meet you.
The girl's shoulders are trembling.
Are you nervous? Afraid of the unknown world?
Maybe a little, but I will get used to it.
Yes. She lets out a breath, clearing the tangle of emotions from her mind. A familiar smile lights up on her face.
Because the nature of the universe flows in all things alike.
Okay, before I get into the whole 37 situation, I wanted to say a little something about Marta. This woman is a fucking mystery. I can't deal anymore. I was so confused as to whether Marta and... oh my goodness, I have forgotten her name. The lady that was in Jun Yang's story, that had her eyes covered. This one. Because they sound the same. They have the same hair. They both can see. So I was wondering if they're the same person, just like everyone was back when this happened. I still don't know, so don't tell me in the comments. If Marta died here, then all my questions are for naught. I will never find out. But I didn't notice her in the video, so I don't know if she actually died there. And you know, no body means no death, right? But if she is, I'm very confused again. Anyway, that aside, there was this Discord online for a long time about whether the people on the island were Greeks. And there was the bigger Discord around Sophia, because everybody was like, oh, she's Turkish, and blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you something. When there's any discussion between Greeks and Turkish people, just don't get in between. It will save you time, no matter which medium you use. You want to use Twitter, you want to use TikTok, just steer away from this. Trust me, all right? You can believe whatever you want to believe. I don't care. The thing is, those characters that shared their names with us have Greek names. But apparently, the first believers, as Six put it, came from Rome. They were Romans. So the people who came in Greece there were initially Romans, and then other people started coming to the island, like he mentioned Arabians. He mentioned even Sophia's family, if they're indeed Turkish, that would be the thing. Because, you know, in my head, right, Sophia was Anatolian, because the whole island gave ancient Greece. I imagine that she also was supposed to give ancient Asia Minor, which meant that it didn't belong to neither Greeks nor Turkish people at the time. And that she came from other nations that no longer exist or have evolved to different nations that now live inside Turkey or around Turkey, you know? But as it turns out, there's high chance she actually was Turkish. And it also made great sense because of their hair. I mentioned it in the beginning too, I think. Because 37 has blue hair that is very much what we Greeks relate to our country, because our flag is blue and white. And it's the sea and stuff like that. And Turkish people have red flag, which is also how Sophia's head was pointed to that direction for me. And how the betrayal between them just... like, there's so much behind there that, like, if you try to read deeper into why the writers chose that type of friendship, you will go crazy, I think. Like, maybe they didn't even think about it. Like, I can believe that. Like, why would you do that? You don't know this. Like, I have noticed that the writers in Reverse are trying to put lots of history inside, like, base their fiction on lots of historical events. And many people online seem to be disappointed with how this is done. Others are satisfied with it. Personally, I don't know where to stand because the island was a mess. Yes, there were some things that were based on ancient Greeks that were accurate, like the whole Pythagorean mindset with the rules and the beans and stuff like that. Yeah, these were accurate. Now, the fact that their spells were in Greek also could give out that maybe they were Greeks. Their names were Greek. Like, it made sense. But, and I don't want to hear ish about Sophia's name. That's a Greek name. Finished. I don't care what you say, because, you know, now the church of Saint Sophia that is in Turkey now is considered, you know, a Turkish, forget what they call their churches right now. I'm not doing this on purpose. I really don't remember what they're called in English. I remember in Greek though. But yeah, her name was also Greek. But it made sense for her to be Turkish with that name because now that church belongs to Turkey. So it's a name that they give their people, is what I'm trying to say. But the origins of the name are Greek. But it makes sense for her to be a Sophia from Turkey, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, try not to get involved in all this or try to read too much into it, because the chances of them actually going that deep to represent something that is actually going on between the two countries in real life is highly unlikely. Just so we're clear. This is why I also stopped looking more into it, because I was getting angry. I was going back to the whole hatred between the two countries, and I was like, stop it, stop using this for fiction. But at the end of the day, I just realized that, you know, maybe they didn't even consider all that. They just wanted to create a center where everybody is accepted and it didn't matter where they came from. And because of the past between the two countries, they thought that, that is something cool we could do. But yeah, it turns out that the island in general welcomed people from many different countries in, and not everybody was Greek, not everybody was Roman, not everybody was Turkish. It was a lot. Like a center that everybody could go to live the phenomenal world. A safe haven, as Six put it. To 37 now. I don't understand why they said that Six didn't know what to answer to 37, because it is a leader's duty to reassure others. Like, don't you want her back? What do you mean? You had to do it because you were a leader. This girl has nobody else in life anymore. She is pulled out of her roots right now. Her friends are gone. The people she considered most important are gone. You are the only person from her childhood that is still there for her to call something family. What do you mean you don't know what to say? Like, I was so mad that they phrased it that way. Let her go out there, since she decided to, yes, explore the world, because if she stayed there, yes, it will create lots of problems, to live in doubt and wonder what if while trying to rebuild everything. She had lost her faith. It's finished. She has to find new answers to be complete. But it doesn't change the fact that she probably is still a child and she wants somewhere to belong. So when you've made that whole trip, right, you want to go back to something. And since some of you are still there, you are there. You, right now, you're being her port, her haven. Cutting ties with her would be brutal. Like, I know you do this for her own good, but like, let her have a way back. Let her have a family to hope to see again. This is what I was thinking. You can't do this. This is where she was born. You cannot tell her that, you know, once you're outside, you don't belong here. Because many people who were outside for years then came there. Not everybody was born on the island. So she can come back if she wants.